This is a difficult text, isn't it? Now, many people resist this reality in the Bible, and they recoil in shock from these biblical descriptions of God's wrath, and the imagery for them seems like it's so out of place with their idea of a God of love. And so what do we as believers say to those kinds of objections? Well, we would say at least three things. First, we would say many people fail to realize that this is precisely because God is a loving God that he responds this way against evil. J.I. Packer says, quote, "Righteous anger is the right action against moral perversity. It would be immoral of a holy God not to show his wrath against evil and injustice and oppression." Perhaps people who do not understand God's wrath do so because they do not share in God's revulsion for sin and evil. And so we should not apologize for the Bible's teachings about God's wrath. The Bible calls us to fear God, not to argue with him. And can I say with all due respect that the holy God of the universe will bring about his justice whether or not I give him permission to do so. Secondly, we must remember that our God is a God who is rich in mercy. Though this world is fallen and condemned, our God in his love sent his one and only Son as the gospel of good news to rescue those who are facing his judgment and wrath, that anyone would come to Christ and be saved from this destruction. This mercy, this eternal gospel is found in chapter 14, verse 6. And so we must humble ourselves and take advantage of God's good news of grace. Thirdly, you may think this doctrine is harsh, but yet this is actually God showing great respect for his children and their choices who don't want to be in a relationship with him. J.I. Packer says it well, quote, "No one stays under the wrath of God unless they choose to do so. In the end, God gives them what they want." And so what we learn here is that everyone in this world faces a choice: either heed God's warning and repent, or face God's coming judgment. Have you done that? Have you repented of your sin? Is it possible that before God and before Christ you have never repented of your sin? I encourage you to do that with some urgency. I emphasize that because there are those in the Bible who think things are right between them and God, but yet at the end of their lives they hear these devastating words from Jesus, who says, "Depart from me, I never knew you, you workers of iniquity." So if you're on the fence about Jesus, or you're not really serious about Jesus, this is not something that you want to play around with. I would encourage you to face this issue with some urgency before it becomes too late. And for those of us who have already embraced that good news, let me encourage you to join with these angels and compassionately tell other people about the good news of Jesus Christ and invite them to come out from the wrath of God. So this is the message of the third angel. It's a devastating message, but it's one that we must embrace today. And we